Good morning, card community. It's RJ back with another video. Let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. Little setup here. I told everybody in some earlier videos I've been spending a little bit more than I should on some baseball cards recently. Tapping the bay, getting some pretty quality items, which is why I'm doing it. But I have the PSA, the Mike Schmidt's, what's called the Mike Schmidt's basic registry, which is 47 cards, the base set card of every manufacturer during his playing days. So Topps, Donruss, Fleer, Score, Upper Deck, and even the Leaf version, which it kind of surprised me they did the Leaf but not the OPC, because all Leaf is the Canadian version of Donruss. So, I mean, if you're going to do Leaf, you might as well do OPC, but they didn't. Anyway, there's 47 cards and I have the whole thing. There are much more extensive PSA registry sets of Schmidt's cards. One of them is the Topps registry, which has, I think, over 200 cards in it. All the Topps All-Stars and things like that. Some of the rack pack inserts of the All-Star cards, or the league leaders, highlights, all that fun stuff. And it's like over 200 cards. And then there's the Mike Schmidt run, just the Mike Schmidt PSA set registry, which is, they determined a certain number of cards. I want to say it was during his playing days. I don't think it extends past his playing days, but there's like over 700 cards in that set, that registry. I'm not going to do that. But what I did think about doing recently, because I saw it on the bay and it just, these were inexpensive, and I thought to myself, well, why not? And it was to pick up some PSA graded cards that were inexpensive. So right here, 1979 OPC Mike Schmidt. It's a PSA 8, but it does have the qualifier of being off-centered, and you can see it is severely off-centered left to right. But that's typical, frankly, of OPC and certainly of the 79s. Very crisp corners and edges on this card, which is interesting. But then the second one I picked up, 1975 Topps Mini, the league leaders card, him and Dick Allen. It's a very nicely centered card. I don't know why it only got a 6. I can only assume there's some surface issues that I can't see, because even the corners look immaculate. But I got a 6. And both of these cards were less than 20 bucks. And I thought to myself, $20 is, the cost of slabbing the cards these days. So why not get them? Why not get these cards in the PSA holders? Because it just, makes life a little bit better to have some cool PSA cards of Mike Schmidt. So I picked those up. My random baseball item of the day today. A little nothingness here, a little fun thing. This is a mouse pad. But this particular mouse pad is a release celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Cracker Jack cards from 1914. It says Memory Lane Inc. I don't even remember. I can't remember how I came upon this. I want to say it was part of the book that was released a couple years ago to highlight the Cracker Jack cards. Tom Zappala and his wife put out some fantastic books on baseball cards, if you want to check them out. But it doesn't list that here. It just lists this Memory Lane Inc. And it's just a mouse pad, nothing special, but it's baseball. So I figured I'd show it off to you today. Today's trivia question. Today it is also, we're still running the This Day in Baseball History theme this week. So This Day in Baseball History today is May the 26th. So on May the 26th, 1925, going ways back, almost 100 years now. On this day in baseball history, May the 25th, 1925, this future Hall of Fame player accumulated his 1,000th extra base hit, becoming the first Major League player ever to reach that milestone. His 1,000th extra base hit. Name that player. The prize for doing so, pretty awesome, Willie Mays card. This is from Topps 2021. It is the doubleheader. It is the theme of that doubleheader series was Topps's first card featuring that player. So obviously Topps's first Willie Mays offering was in 52. and then Topps' final card featuring that player, which was the 73 Topps Willie Mays. So that is your prize. If you can get the answer correct, email me the correct answer. I will include my email in the description below, along with a repeat of the question you will have today and tomorrow to answer. So good luck to everybody on that. Today, I want to show off a large set. We did small set on Wednesday, large set on Friday. Want to highlight this time the 1991 Classic Best minor league set. Now, this was Classic's first ever set of minor league cards. They had done the game cards since about '88 and in several different series each year. But this was their first foray into minor league cards. Now, they were released in a couple different ways. They were released in packs. In fact, you can still get boxes of this on the Bay. They're there all the time. They really mass-produced this set to a large degree. It helps that Mike Schmidt was the sponsor because his image is like on all the stuff. So that goes right along with me being a Mike Schmidt collector to get that. I did have a box in the past, an unopened box of cards, but I ripped through them one day just for fun. I'll have to pick myself up another one just to hold on to it as part of my Schmidt collection. Anyway, they did it in 1991. They also did it in 1992, and Mike Schmidt was still the spokesman or sponsor. But I'm not going to go through that. I'm only going to go through the 91 set. So, what did you get for Classic Best minor league cards? Of course, you got minor leaguers. There were no parallel cards, but there were a couple chase cards. So, for example, let me show you. This is card number 1 in the set. It is Mike Schmidt. You can see here just a little bio about Schmidt on the back. He was card number 1 from his days with the Reading Phillies. In fact, it does provide his minor league stats. He played 1 year in Reading and 1 year in Eugene, Oregon, before his call up to the Phillies in September of 1972. That was your basic card. Again, it showed the name of his team that he was on at the time, Reading Phillies. Well, of course, that's what the picture is. And then on the back, it had a picture of the logo of the team that was the major league team for it. Now, there were a couple inserts to chase, all right? One of them was a gold foil version of that card. That is this one here. You can see that the thing has a gold foil nameplate instead of the red one. It is numbered BC 1. All right. So you had that. There were also some autographs to be had. So he hand signed 2,100 of these cards. On the back, it is different. You can actually see. This is important to know if you're going to collect this card and you want to make sure you got the autograph right. So, for example, this is the autographed version. It's different than the original card because it doesn't have the Phillies logo and it has a red R logos on the back. So you want to make sure, first of all, if you're going to get the Classic Best card and it's going to have the auto on it, you want to make sure he numbered it out of 21. And you want to make sure that the back is different because otherwise it could be that at some show later on, he signed one of the base cards for you. And that would be a little less valuable than the actual insert card, just saying. So what else do you get in the Classic Best Minor League? There are currently 4 Hall of Famers represented. Again, these are like all the different minor league players from the era. And, you know, how many of them make the Hall of Fame? Not a lot. How many make the majors? Not a lot. The 4 Hall of Famers included in this set: Ivan Rodriguez, Jim Thome, Chipper Jones, very young-looking Chipper, and a young-looking Pedro Martinez. There are a couple other cards, and I'm going to go through some more, that have future Hall of Famers, I believe. So again, the basic design, player name at the bottom in a red oval, the team that he played for at the time. You know, position. There's a little, I'm not sure what the dashed around the side is, but it says Classic Best 1991. And on the back, his minor league stats, a couple standard bio. And there's a write-up if there's something interesting to talk about. You know, Chipper Jones was #1 overall, if you remember. Braves first selection, #1 in the nation. So, interesting little Hall of Famers. Now, apologize for this. This is going to take a while. If you don't want to go through the whole thing with me, I understand. But I thought it would be fun to go through the set and show off one card of each of the minor league teams included in this set. So I'm literally going to go through the whole stack I have here. One card from each of the minor league teams. It's just fun to see where minor league baseball is happening in the nation. Here we go. I have Albany Yankees, a guy named Willie Smith. I'm sure that's Albany, New York, but some of these things, I don't even know where they're from. The Appleton Foxes, I have no idea where Appleton is. The Appleton Foxes are from the Royals. John Eriks of the Arkansas Travelers. I know they're out of Little Rock. They're still the Travelers to this day. Asheville Taurus. I'm not sure which Asheville that is. There's a lot of Ashevilles around the world, but that is from the Astros. Chris Durkin from the Auburn Astros. Anthony Brown of the Augusta Pirates. Pretty sure that's a Pirates farm team. Phil Hyatt, he eventually made the majors, but the Baseball City Royals, I have no idea where, quote-unquote, Baseball City is. Tyler Green from the Batavia Clippers. Tyler Green was a highly touted rookie for the pitching prospect for the Phillies back in the day. Never panned out. Jeff Borsky of the Bellingham Mariners. Leon Glenn Jr. for the Beloit Brewers. Derek Lee from the Birmingham Barons. Derek Lee made it to the majors, White Sox affiliate. Sean Purdy from the Boise Hawks and Angels affiliate. I'm sure that's Boise, Idaho. Idaho? Yeah, Boise, Idaho. Trevor Miller from the Bristol Tigers. Walter Trice from the Burlington Astros. Boy, the Astros really use their team name for a lot of their minor league affiliates. It's more fun to get some interesting minor league names, though. Here's Jeff Mutis of the Canton Akron Indians, obviously Ohio. Joe Arsenio of the Carolina Mudcats. There's a great name, the Mudcats. Pirates affiliate. Mark Borcherding from the Cedar Rapids Reds. Jerry Thurston from the Charleston Rainbows. A little hard to tell who's who. The Charleston Rainbows, I'm going to say that's from Charleston, South Carolina, the Padres, because this one, it could be any Charleston really, but this one, Charleston Wheelers, I'm assuming that's Charleston, West Virginia. Dan Wilson, who made it to the majors. Cincinnati Reds minor leaguer. Kevin Roberson from the Charlotte Knights from Chicago Cubs. Barry Winford of the Charlotte Rangers, a lot of Charlottes too. Reggie Sanders from the Chattanooga Lookouts. Reggie Sanders made it to the majors. Reds minor leaguer. Mike Williams, I know Mike made it to the majors. He was in the Phillies for a couple of years. Clearwater Phillies. That's Clearwater, Florida, obviously. Adam Haizu from the Clinton Giants. Not sure what Clinton that is. Again, a lot of these cities are in multiple states, the names. So, Jason Hardkey from the Columbus Indians. I'm assuming that's Columbus, Ohio. Greg O'Halloran from the Dunedin Blue Jays. I know that Dunedin is the Florida spring training site of the Blue Jays. Here's a one everybody knows. So this is Davey Lopez. And actually, that's Javi Lopez, former Braves catcher on the Durham Bulls back in the day. The Durham Bulls have switched. That's another thing to notice. Minor league teams switch allegiances once in a while. So you might find a team being the minor league affiliate of one major league team, and then later on it's somebody else. So here's the El Paso Diablos. Chris Johnson, it was a Brewers thing. Frank Rodriguez, the Elmira Pioneers. Now, some of them just have this. They just say that he was the number one draft pick, number one for that team, not necessarily overall in the country. He was the Red Sox number one in the June 1990 draft. Kurt Nipper, the Erie Sailors. I'm sure that's Erie, Pennsylvania. It's interesting here. This guy, it says that he played in the Brewers organization, was picked up by Montreal and assigned to Erie. If he played in the Brewers organizations, where's his stats? How come they didn't include his minor league stats? Unknown. And there's a couple cards like that too. Joe Vitiello from the Eugene Emeralds, Eugene, Oregon, which at one time was a Phillies organization, but now it is not. Royals' first pick of the June draft. So I guess the Eugene's now a Royals affiliate. Matt Brewer of the Everett Giants. Dan Rogers of the Fayetteville Generals. Kevin Jordan of the Fort Lauderdale Yankees. I picked Kevin Jordan out because he eventually made it into the Phillies organization, but he started out with the Yankees. Manny Alexander from the Frederick Keys, Baltimore Orioles organization. I imagine that's Frederick, Maryland. Mickey Henson, Gastonia Rangers. I have no idea where Gastonia is. Maybe Texas. Jamie Gonzalez from the Kissimmee Astros. Like I said, all the Astros minor league teams have the Astros as the name. Bummer. Geneva Cubs, Doug Glanville. Doug Glanville, great Philly from the late 90s teams. Went to University of Penn. Still does some work for the Phillies here and there. He was the number one pick of the Cubs back in 91. Ryan Klesko. Ryan Klesko, a highly touted prospect back in the early 90s. Had a long career, but a lot of injuries plagued him. On the Greenville Braves. Ricky Gutierrez from the Hagerstown Suns. That's what I'm talking about. Some great minor league names. The Hamilton Redbirds and A.J. Watson. Robbie Katzaroff, the Harrisburg Senators. That has switched allegiances over the years. Now, it was the Expos back then. I know at one time it was the Pirates, Harrisburg, but that switches often. Matt Mieska, the High Desert Mavericks. Love that name, High Desert. A Padres organization. I have to think it's out in Arizona or Nevada somewhere. Todd Van Poppel of the Huntsville Stars. Highly touted Oakland A's prospect. Todd Van Poppel, another guy, didn't go anywhere. Shane Reynolds from the Jackson Generals. I'm assuming that's Jackson, Mississippi. There's finally an Astros team that didn't use the Astros name. Roger Salkeld is another highly touted prospect back in the day that didn't make it big, but Jacksonville Suns, part of the Mariners organization. Jamestown Expos from Rodney Pedraza. Don't know where Jamestown is, that card came from, but he's with the Jamestown Expos. Brian Barber, Johnson City Cardinals. Keith Schmidt on the Kane County Cougars. Love that name. Baltimore Orioles organization, but the Kane County Cougars. Just love that minor league team name. Jason Klonowski from the Kenosha Twins. Kenosha, Wisconsin, I do believe. Brian Giles did make it to the majors. Kinston Indians. Ed Ramos, the Kissimmee Astros. Here's a future Hall of Famer in my mind. Jeff Kent out of the Knoxville Blue Jays. He would have a couple rookie cards in the 1992 sets. Mr. Jeff Kent would. What was he doing back then? He hit, how many home runs was he hitting? He hit 16 mid-teens in home runs. Fair batting average, but he was getting better. I think he should be a Hall of Famer someday. That's just me. Eric Albright, Lakeland Tigers. Von Cruz of the London Dodgers. I'm going to assume that's London, Ontario. Bruce Chick from the Lynchburg Red Sox. Henry Werland from the Macon Braves. Tanyan Dirtsey from the Madison Muskies. Hugh Walker from the Memphis Chicks. Mike Lansing made it to the majors from the Miami Miracle. Interesting thing here. I'm assuming the Miami Miracle was from, well, I'm not sure if it was a minor league affiliate of anybody. It looks here, they call it the Miami Miracle. They don't say at all what team it's from. Probably because they knew Miami had been granted a major league franchise and they just didn't know yet what the team name was. Remember, this was before Miami and Colorado came into the league as major league teams. So you have the Miami Miracles as a minor league team still. Kevin Flora from the Midland Angels. I think Flora was a minor league team, was a major leaguer for the Phillies at one time. Mike Messerly from the Modesto A's. I always remember, if you look at Ricky Henderson's 1980 Topps card, you'll see he played at Modesto. And Modesto still, at this time, was a minor league affiliate of the A's. Here's another guy, future Hall of Famer, Carlos Delgado, was with the Myrtle Beach Hurricanes, Toronto Blue Jays organization at the time. Scott Taylor, New Britain Red Sox. Greg Johnson, the Orlando Sunrays, Twins thing. Brian Williams made it to the majors. The Osceola Astros. Earl Cunningham from the Peoria Chiefs. You can see that's a Cubs guy. Frank Jacobs from the Pittsfield Mets. Sterling Hitchcock obviously made it to the majors. The Prince William Cannons. Here's one. I have to think about this one. Calvin Reese. This is one. Calvin Pokey Reese from the Princeton Reds, obviously with the Reds organization. Garrett Anderson, future major leaguer from the Quad City Angels. I have no idea where Quad City is. Tony Longmire from the Reading Phillies. Martin Martinez, love that name. Martin Martinez from the Rockford Expos. Kevin Young, Salem Buccaneers. Great name. Eric Young from the San Antonio Missions. I think they're still called San Antonio Missions to this today. Mark Newfield from the San Bernardino Spirit, a minor league team that once had Ken Griffey Jr. on it, if you saw some of my videos from earlier this week. Rick Heusman from the San Jose Giants. Johnny Ruffin from the Sarasota White Sox. Mark Ronan from the Savannah Cardinals. Kevin Rogers from the Shreveport Captains. Love that name, Shreveport Captains. Kevin Rogers. Scott Ruffcorn, future baseball player, future major leaguer. South Bend White Sox. Brent Gaines, South Oregon A's. Mike Lieberthal from the Spartansburg Phillies. Lieberthal would have a long and lengthy and distinguished career as a Phillies star catcher all through the 90s and into the early 2000s. Johnny Calzado from the Springfield Cardinals. Chris Weinke of the St. Catherine Blue Jays. Brooke Fordyce from the St. Lucie Mets. Paul Ellis, St. Pete Cardinals. Another thing, too, St. Petersburg had a minor league team at the time. It is now the major league team. The Tampa Bay Rays are out of St. Petersburg. But Paul Ellis was with the St. Pete Cardinals back in 91. Troy O'Leary from the Stockton Ports. I have no idea what Stockton, where Stockton was located on this card, but the Ports, they called themselves. I wonder if that, because it's a brewer thing, I wonder if the port was like porter in beer. Interesting question. Carlos Perez from the Sumter Flyers, Expos organization. Donald Harris from the Tulsa Drillers. Love that name, the Tulsa Drillers. Obviously an oil reference, and Texas being the home, no doubt. Larry Thomas Jr. from the Utica Blue Sox, which was a White Sox team. Love that little play on words. Billy Ashley, who did make it to the majors. Vero Beach Dodgers, Vero Beach, the spring training site of the Dodgers. Matt Brown from the Visalia Oaks. Julio Bruno, Waterloo Diamonds, great name for the Padres organization. Herbert Perry, Watertown Indians. John Farrell, I think that was the former major leaguer, future major leaguer John Farrell from the Welland Pirates. Reed Cornelius, great name, Reed Cornelius, West Palm Beach Expos. Jose Valentin, future major leaguer, Wichita Wranglers, great name there, Wichita Wranglers from the Padres organization. Jeremy Brunitz, future MLB player from the Williamsport Blues, a Mets farm team. Jesse Hollins, Winston-Salem Spirits, Cubs organization. And lastly, Scott Hatteberg, famed of the Moneyball film. Scott Hatteberg with the Winter Haven Red Sox. So sorry that this one went so long. Again, I wanted to pay a little homage to the minor league teams that still exist out there. Many of them have changed their names. Many of them have changed their league affiliates, but most of these cities still have minor league teams to this day. It's nice to see, baseball still happening in your small towns. Hope everybody else has a chance to go out and see some minor league baseball once in a while. It is a fun experience. I do enjoy hitting up the local teams where I live. I'm really close to the city of Allentown, Pennsylvania. And there is the AAA affiliate of the Phillies is in Allentown, Pennsylvania, so I get to go to that one once or twice a year. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. Don't forget the trivia question, and stop back again on Sunday. We'll go through all the trivia questions, and I'll give you all the answers, all right? Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch. Take care.